Dominik Hasek is the greatest goaltender to ever play in the NHL. And it's really not much of a debate if you really look at it. And I'm going to tell you why. Dominik Hasek was drafted by the Chicago Blackhawks in the 10th round of the 1983 draft, 199th overall. He didn't even know he was drafted. I can't find the clip anywhere, but I know there's a clip out there of him. He just didn't know he was drafted until his friend told him, and he really didn't know what that meant. He didn't play in the NHL till he was 26, whereas both Brodeur and Waugh started at 19. Now, a lot of people, when they talk about the GOATs of just goaltending in hockey, they talk about two specific people in Patrick Waugh and Martin Brodeur. Those two are pretty seen as like the interchangeable one or two, and then every now and then people will consider Dominik Hasek in there as a third, but it's pretty common that those two are 1 and 2 and people put Hasek at third purely because he didn't have the rings or the numbers to go with it. However, he kind of did have the numbers. He just played for a really shitty team all the time. He was not Martin Brodeur. He was not Patrick Waugh, who were these goaltenders drafted at 19 years old, destined to be the saviors of their franchises. This man was in Czechoslovakia, was now in Czech. Dominik Hasek, throughout his entire career, played on much worse teams than Brodeur and Patrick Waugh ever played for. Patrick Waugh won a Conn Smythe and a Stanley Cup, I believe, in his rookie year, while Dominik Hasek played 5 games for the Chicago Blackhawks at 26. And due to Brodeur and Waugh, the Canadiens and the Devils are both historically great franchises. Like, purely because of them, at least for the Devils, the Canadiens are just a historically incredible franchise, and Waugh just tacks onto that, now being considered one of the best, if not the best, Canadiens goaltender of all time, which is a very high feat to accomplish. With Jacques Plante, Carey Price even now being in there, and just many other great goaltenders playing in there. Ken Dryden, the Montreal Canadiens are a big franchise with a lot of great history. Dominik Hasek played for the Buffalo Sabres and the Ottawa Senators. I don't need to explain why a man who plays for the Buffalo Sabres didn't win. A little context. The only real help Dominik Hasek ever had was Pat LaFontaine. That would be it. In the 1995 season where the New Jersey Devils won the Stanley Cup, Martin Brodeur played with 3 Hall of Fame defensemen in Scott Stevens, Scott Niedermayer, and Ken Denico. 3 defensemen out of 6 were in the Hall of Fame. And then you got to Brodeur, if you got past those 3. And not only that, Niedermayer, Denico, and Stevens were all huge body boys. Like, they would, good luck getting by them. Like, you just have to look up highlights. These guys, they would sit you down. They put you in the hospital. There's a reason. There's a clip of Scott Stevens basically killing Paul Correa. It's a clear thing. Like, it was hard as hell getting past him. Dominik Hasek didn't have that. Not only that, both of them did not have nearly as many. Not nearly, but they didn't have as many Vezinas, which the Vezina is a Goaltender of the Year award for the NHL. He had more than both of them. Didn't have as many Jennings. Jennings is the award given to the goaltender in the NHL who has given out the least amount of goals within 20, and they played at least 25 games. Brodeur and Patrick Waugh won both of those more than Hasek. You know, not playing for Buffalo definitely helps. And they also played, but they didn't win as many Vezinas, which is the Goaltender of the Year award. Dominik Hasek won 5. Patrick Waugh won 4, and I believe Brodeur also won 4. Regardless, he won more than both of them, while still giving up more goals. It kind of shows that your defense is helping you out quite a bit. And Patrick Waugh also played in front of Ray Bourque, Uwe Krupp, Joe Sakic as a forward. Like, Peter Forsberg played in front of some incredible players. All Hall of Famers. I don't know about Uwe Krupp, but definitely Ray Bourque, Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg, Hall of Famers for sure. It's not close. And then not only that, Dominik Hasek was the first goaltender since 1962 to win the Hart Memorial or the league's MVP in 1996. The first goalie to do it in over 30 years since the Montreal Canadiens goalie Jacques Blanc. He was the first one to do it. And then not only that, he won it back-to-back. Now, granted, it was on the end of like when Gretzky was like terrorizing the league. Gretzky was aging a little bit. It was a little hard to win. But it was also the same year, 1996 was the same year, Mario Lemieux decided to put up 122 points. Okay, that's league leading, 122. And then third was Paul Kariya. And then the next year, in 1997, Mario Lemieux wasn't playing, and won it back-to-back. No Gretzky being as elite as he was, and Mario Lemieux not playing definitely helped. However, he also went up against Jaromir Jagr in his prime, who had 102 points, I believe, without Mario Lemieux. So it's not like he was just given the award. It wasn't a pity thing. This man had two Pittsburgh Penguins with over 100 points and still beat them out on Buffalo. Like, you gotta be doing something right. And if you really, really want to bring stats into it, like, he doesn't have the career wins. He's got about 300 wins less than Martin Brodeur, about 200 some less than Patrick Waugh, and that's fair. I mean, he just didn't play as long. He didn't come into the league when he was 19. He didn't start playing until he was 26. And then he did have some groin issues that affected his longevity, unfortunately. But, you know, it happens when you spread yourself like butter every night and you just don't have basically any human bones. And now, for stats though, Dominik Hasek not only has a .2 GAA, goals against average, lower than both of them, he has a save percentage that is 10% higher than both of them career-wise. And then if you want to get more in the nitty-gritty, Martin Brodeur and Patrick Waugh both had only 3 seasons with above a .920 save percentage, which back then, I mean, it was pretty common for it was pretty astounding for goalies to get above .920, especially .925. Whereas we see that more often now. Guys are averaging .915, .920. It's pretty common now, but back then it wasn't. Dominik Hasek had 6 seasons in a row of above .920. 6 in a row, not 3 in his whole career, in a row, and then had 8 total above .920 on Buffalo. No Scott Stevens, no Ray Bourque. He was in Buffalo, averaging above a .920 save percentage. Now Brodeur had 4 seasons with a GAA below about 2.1. Say it's pretty, for the elite goalie, that's good. Waugh only had 1 season of a GAA below 2.1. Dominik Hasek had 7. Granted, he didn't play a lot due to injury in some of them. Others were lockouts, you know. Early 2000s lockouts, pretty common, especially with sports, but especially the NHL. But Dominik Hasek, I mean, you gotta be doing something right to have 7 seasons of a GAA below 2.1. And people are gonna make the standard of, well, you know, he could only win when he went to Detroit. That's right, he won 2 Stanley Cups in Detroit. Those were the only times he won a Stanley Cup. He took a team all the way to the finals on his back after having a groin injury that entire regular season, ended up going all the way to the finals. And then people may say, well, he didn't win until he got a good team in front of him. Right, just like the other two guys. The other 2 guys won with incredible teams in front of them. A goalie can't carry a team, but the only reason, the idea that a goalie can, is because of him carrying a team like Buffalo as far as he did. You just can't get nearly as far. It's not gonna happen. Seeing the dominance that he had in net on such a bad team for so long, the only reason there's even a debate is because he started later and injuries. That's the only reason. And, well, you know, Buffalo. Buffalo doesn't help either. Just Buffalo. They tend to do a thing where they just don't let people become famous. Unless it's that one guy who did that one thing for the football team after he played football, I think. Something with a knife, I don't know. But regardless, he was more... He was better. He was better. He outplayed them on a worse team and still took these teams places that they had no place being, ever. Now, he also had a longer impact on the game, in my opinion, by the sense that, like, yes, every goaltender plays like Patrick Warmbert, they took the sense of the butterfly style. They took it from him. A lot of goalies learned one thing from Dominik Hasek that you couldn't learn from anyone else, is that there's no wrong way to stop the puck. People like Jonathan Quick, John Gibson, Vasilevsky doing behind the glove stuff, like those, that may have never happened if you hadn't seen Dominik Hasek just throw stuff out there. However, you're like, why would he do that? He would do it because it would stop the puck. That was the only way he knew how to do it. He would try something no goalie had tried before. He was fun to watch, unnatural. You'd never think of it. You're like, I can't believe he bent his body in that way. Or why would he do that? Why would he just lay down when there's a guy going back door? It didn't matter. He stopped it. Goalies do things like going behind the back. They try new things because his entire style was new, unheard of. I think in that sense, he revolutionized the game way more than any butterfly style could have, because his style will continue to push the game on past whatever style there is. You can't hold him in a category. You can't teach anyone how to play like Dominik Hasek. There's just Dominik Hasek. And that's why I think he's the greatest goaltender in NHL history, and it's not even close.
No better feeling, than to win the cup. It took a long time, and I'm so happy, I came to this city, and have a chance, to play for this team, and now the dream came true.
A gold medal and a Stanley Cup. Is there a difference here?
I don't know, but, the Stanley Cup is a long journey. It's a